It is once again that time where The Sims 4 gets 3 new kits. Yes, we have got 3 new kits on our hands. We're going to be checking them all out in this video. And yes, we finally have glasses trains, but I do have some thoughts about it. As a granny of the Sims community, what can I say? Now, people have been claiming that Restoration Workshop is a gameplay kit. I'm gonna hold my horses on that one. Thank you very much. I will be the judge of that. I personally don't think it is, and I will get into the reasons why I don't think it is, purely based on the promo. I'm gonna start off with the feminine Sims, just because the one and only Vivian Lewis is here. 2 of my favorite elders that we have in the game. So for feminine Sims, we actually have this new bonnet, which is extremely floral. Honestly, this is kind of giving Sims 3, which I don't mind, but you know, I still wish that we had mobility aids like walking sticks and stuff like that. For example, not only for elder Sims, I want to preface this whole video by saying when I say I want like a specific thing like for elders, I'm also not only saying like just elders do those things, and I'm also not saying that like all elders do those things, because I know when I was talking about knitting, people were like, you keep mentioning elders and I knit. Well, elders don't only knit, you know, like they have other things that they can do within the game, which I'm not debating any of that. Just because I say I like apples doesn't mean I hate bananas, you know? So I just want to point that out. And then also this headscarf, which is extremely similar to the one that we actually got within Growing Together. It is basically, I want to say like a recolor. This one does sit a little bit higher. This one actually, I prefer the shape of it. This one feels a little like unnatural with the way that it sits. I also want to see if the hair color does change underneath. It should do. Her ears are currently poking out. Apparently, I like to make Sims with bigger ears. What can I say? Yeah, I definitely prefer the Growing Together one. This just feels like it shouldn't be sat like that. Like gravity should be doing more. Luckily, the hair does change with it, and I actually quite like the hair that is underneath this. I have no complaints about that. She's also rocking some of the new glasses. You might have clicked on accessories and that annoying glitch is still going on where you can't see all of the accessories. There aren't any new piercings in this pack, but there are in fact new accessories. We have these glasses. They're like varifocals, bifocals, whatever you want to call them. I will say I don't like how their glasses train is like sitting up on their ears. Now I have seen older people specifically wear their chains like up over their ears as well. I don't ever really do that. I quite like mine hanging, but not everyone likes that, as some people find it a distraction. So I imagine this helps with that, but I would have loved to see a version with the chain also down, just because I think I could have personally played around with that a little bit more. But I do like that these are varifocals. I would love 2 swatches of glasses, one to be like a sunglasses and then another to be like a regular glasses, but these fit really nicely. They're a nice frame on the Sim. And then when it comes to necklaces, annoyingly, let's see how much this actually works. It works with only one of the new tops, but it is a little wedding ring. So this can either, I guess you can tell the story of it being passed down from generation to generation, or it could be their widow's ring. You know, they could have lost their partner and therefore they wear their ring. There's also LGBTs, we stay winning. There's also a rainbow ring. This comes in silver, black, and gold, and then also a cheeky little, like, very muted rose gold thrown in there. We also have the glasses as a necklace, so it's kind of the same sort of like swatches that we have. The chain has like a little bit of like movement, like artifacting. I don't know if you would call that artifacting, but it definitely is because it's like so skinny. It's also clipping with the neck just a little bit, but I actually don't mind that. It's just unfortunate that it doesn't work with like a lot of the tops that we have. And then we also have have, I think this is a medical alarm. Feel free to correct me if I am wrong. Also referred to as like fall alarms, basically a button that they can wear that will then activate and send an emergency call to let people know that they have fallen or, you know, are going through a medical emergency. Really, really nice to have this representation. No new makeup for Golden Years. I have been through everything. We never really get new hairstyles. We also never really get new makeup, so that is definitely not surprising. Moving on to the tops, we have this little apron here that has like flour up it. It looks as if your sim could have been cleaning maybe, or maybe they have been baking. This very much reminds me of my own grandma. I used to go around every week to their house and I would wear an apron, she would wear an apron, and we'd get to baking. So this is very reminiscent, like a very basic jumper underneath it. I honestly can't really see myself getting loads of use out of this unless I'm telling the story of like maybe a sim who owns a bakery or they really enjoy baking. I just feel like I don't really use those like workwear clothing all that much. Then we have this, which is actually quite cropped. It's like a cropped jacket, but it does obviously match that skirt that she had on her. I will say, and I think this can't really be helped, but they did say that this was made to fit elders, but the thing is, by default, elders' boobs are so like sat much lower within the game. That's kind of how they like naturally age in The Sims 4, and there's still like issues around that and like where it sits and like it's squishing buttons. So does it feel like it's really been made for elders? I'm not too sure, but that is obviously made to go with this skirt, so we'll have a look at this skirt as well. I mean, this is really nice actually. I think it fits the sim really, really nicely. I like the high-waistedness of it all. I don't know if everyone is going to be a fan of the fact that this is cropped, especially like if you're not wearing it with this skirt, but I do think you can actually probably make that work with a fair few of the trousers, even in like base game. I'm so over the slouchy like sweater vests. Honestly, it feels like we've had a sweater vest in every single release since like high school years, and I am so over it. I genuinely think I would have preferred this if it didn't have the vest on top of it, just because I'm sick of seeing these like slouchy shoulder vest tops. I quite like the design on it, but it's not anything special to me. We have a little bird watching fit, which we do have bird watching if you actually have the Sims 4 backyard stuff. You can watch the birds that land on the bird feeder, but it's not like a full-on interaction, I don't think, from what I can remember. It's been a very long time. I wish that there was kind of a collection that was tied to bird watching, so you could use the little binoculars, and then if you saw like different birds every day, it would like tick off on the household collection, even though it's not something that you can earn. I quite like this. I mean, it's a little bit different. It's good for those people who maybe like exploring as well. There's definitely a fair bit of use that you can get out of this. I maybe would have liked to see this again in another swatch without the binoculars, because personally I think that cold weather stuff doesn't really exist too much. This is kind of giving cottage living. I will say, I feel like if you maybe have cottage living, you might not want to pick this kit up right now anyway, from what I'm seeing, because it does feel extremely similar. Moving on to the bottoms, we obviously have the skirt that we've already mentioned, and then we have these high-waisted, kind of super comfy looking trousers. I have no beef with these. They kind of are giving athleisure, but they also like fit really nicely. The only issue I can see is that it's creating a line around the back of the sim. It's not as cohesive, I will say, as I feel like we're used to seeing when it comes to kits, but these are really nice, very plain trousers. I maybe would have preferred them if they were a little bit baggier at the bottom and they weren't tapered so much, but that's just me being picky. There's no new shoes, by the way, in this kit, so I am just using some base game shoes, which is unfortunate. I kind of would have liked to see maybe some more slippers. Those kind of like indoor outdoor slippers. I know my grandparents wear those an awful lot. We have this like nightie with the little like dressing gown type situation thrown over the top. Again, very much reminds me of my grandma. These two like swatches in particular are very much giving Sims 3, especially this like pink one, like Mama a Diva behind you. I take all of my shit talk about athleisure wear back, because what do you mean? And they can rep their vintage uni. Stop, that's so sick. The high-waisted shorts are genuinely giving me life. Oh, okay. Cheeky little bit of like martial arts there. We don't actually have martial arts within the game, but is this a cheeky maybe little hint towards something? So cute. I really, really like this actually. This is different. This is fun. I love it. Kind of wish there was a version with leggings, but you know what? That is so different that I absolutely love it. Another one with an apron, and I can't tell if this is like wear and tear or if it's meant to be like flower. It kind of looks like this is becoming threadbare, which I actually really, really like. I do think it is meant to be flower, like she's dusted herself off. This is also great because Vivian, I have headcanoned her as owning her own catering business. I think this one I'll probably get a little bit more use out, even though it is an apron. It still feels like kind of a casual wear, like everyday type thing. And then this is of course the gardening with the little knee pads included. This is nothing really all that different. I feel like we have a couple of gardening fits. Again, unfortunately, because of the way boobs are in this game, that is being cut off. Kind of wish they had maybe looked into that a little bit more, see if they could have fixed that a little bit. If you like getting your Sims dressed for their hobbies, then I guess that can be a little bit of you. But for me, I don't really feel like it's that great. No new bracelets, but we do have these gardening gloves, which actually look like the best gardening gloves that we have to date. These actually look like gardening gloves, which is wild. The Seasons ones look so bad in comparison to these. Juno Birch, eat your feckin' heart out. Oh my goodness gracious me. She has her gloves. I'm so mad that they didn't give her a swatch with red fingernails. Hold on. Let me just see if we can get like a glitch to work. Wait. Hold on, Juno. This is iconic, actually. Theatrical pieces of jewelry, which I absolutely love, like costume pieces. I feel like we don't have costume jewelry that much. The toupee is not a new hair, it's considered a hat. So Dennis has this hair on. Man definitely does not need a toupee, let's be real. But then you can plop this on over like any hair, and it comes in all the colors of the hairs. So you could like match this and have it like look like their hair, or you can just go like a completely different color so that it is very obvious that it is actually a toupee, and I love that. So much fun that we have this. I feel like they've also gone back to like the base game textures of hairs, which like makes sense, because like what if you do only own this specific kit and base game? Like they probably have made it to match more of like the older hairstyles when it comes to texture, but this is just so fun. They do obviously get the glasses once again. Then they get all the same necklaces. They get the wedding ring, they get the glasses, and then they also get the medical aid. 5 tops for the gents, same as the feminine Sims. They get again the same kind of jumper with the apron on. I guess this matches up quite well with businesses and hobbies as well. Oh, I really like this. I hate how those glasses look. That looks so bad. I'll be the one to say it. I like the hanky or the tissue in the pocket. This is really nice. It fits really nicely, actually. I am a fan, definitely, of how that fits. There's also like a camo version. A little fishing one. That's really, really cute. Then we have... no, that is not for me. This is giving base game in like the worst way possible. Like this feels exactly like a base game cardigan that we have, but just with like a lower cardigan. The only one I actually really like is like this color swatch of it. Like I think that's the only one that's usable in my personal opinion. Then we have this, which honestly feels like The Office. You have a hello, my name is, which I guess if you are maybe using for rent, which is still booked at the minute, by the way, but if you're using for rent for like multi-people living and you have them maybe living in an old people's home, in a retirement home, then that's quite cute because it's like they can be a little newbie and they're introducing themselves. Like once your sim has finished work, it really gives that like London energy, like let's go for a beer. And then again, you have the bird watching. Only one new set of trousers, but they are a sneaky little corduroy trouser. Love these. Really like that how they sit. They go down at the back, which I always appreciate. We've had a lot of corduroy recently, so you might not feel like these might be missing from your game, but I love the like length of the crotch. I think these fit really nicely. I would like to see more trousers fit like this, honestly. They have this little PJ set. This is super cute. I mean, I'm so jealous that we don't have this like vest top. It's just a vest top. After I've been here like, stop giving me vest tops and sweater vests. I mean more so sweater vests. I would love a vest top that fits like this. Sims team, if you're listening, that is my request. It's also got elbow pads on some of them, and then others just look kind of like worn out. So there's this like one version that's like a little bit worn. Then we have... This is so cute. Stop it. Oh, this is adorable. This suit is one of the best Creator Sim assets. Look at the height of those trousers. Sir, you do not need braces for those. Those are staying up no matter what. I love how they finally play around with shape, style, cut for a feckin' elder pack. This is what I deserve. This is what masculine Sims deserve. Sims team, can we please take like these silhouettes and play around with them more? What do you mean? This is what I've been asking for so many years. Absolutely, I'm obsessed with that. Then again, they have like the gardener fit, same as the other, and then they have also again the work outfit. It's exactly the same. Gardening gloves. They also get the set of rings for masculine, which was really nice because sometimes I feel like they forget about masculine Sims. And then also no new shoes. This hands down the best asset. What do you mean? It's so good. I prefer the masculine over the feminine. I don't really feel like feminine is doing a lot, whereas the masculine, because of the way that the things fit, I'm like, yes, please sign me up. I just really quickly want to see like how much the necklace actually works with, because I fear it doesn't work with a lot. So she has it on. Doesn't work with that, doesn't work with that. Works with the workout, works with the little nightie. Doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work, doesn't work. It works with like 3 of the assets that we have for feminine Sims. Doesn't work on this one, but that kind of makes sense. Does work on that one. So that's 1, 2, just 2. Just 2. It doesn't work on any of the tops for the masculine Sims. The glasses seem to work though. Don't get me wrong, there is like a little bit of clipping, obviously. Like it kind of literally looks like it goes through the shirt, but realistically, I'm not looking all that deeply, and I'm glad that this actually like overlays better than the necklace does. Same for the feminine. The only one it doesn't work with is this one, which makes sense because it's got like a big bow in the front. It works with all the others. Yeah, I do feel like we're really missing a pair of like indoor-outdoor shoes. Not like Crocs, but kind of like a split between a loafer, a trainer, and a slipper. My word, I've never had a build buy mode set up take quite so long, but that's what happens when I'm trying to make it look realistic. I will say there is so much clutter here. If you are wanting to use the kitchen clutter kit, just be wary of where your Sims are actually going to cook, because there's so much that every space of this kitchen has been used up. Like, this is not usable. So I do feel like you're gonna have to strip it back a little bit, but obviously I am showing these pieces off. So we have the clutter carousel. Loads of people have in the kitchen where you just like throw stuff down and then probably forget about it. This little like dish caddy that has like soaps and stuff. This is kind of annoying because we did get a new sink, but this doesn't like slot onto the new sink, which is unfortunate. I have only just noticed that the sink does have some dirty stuff in there. So there's a dirty little like cup and saucer and a fork and a little sponge. Just kind of disappointing that this doesn't like slot onto the back of it. Again, that would have opened up some much needed room. We have a little dish tray for where stuff is drying off. Then we have some dough and some eggs. Looks like they are halfway through bacon. I kind of made this as if Olivia had just like come through, stayed the night, you know, baked with grandma, and then like ran off back home, you know? Whirlwind of a grandchild. Some little fresh herbs. I think I would have preferred these if they could have gone up like on the wall or something. Ooh, there is actually a slot up on the weight, which I didn't know, on the scales. So you can just throw some stuff up there if you are looking for more space. I mean, you could throw this little like set of dishes up on there. There's not too much that can fit on it. This all fits quite nicely together. Like, I think all three of these kits kind of have the theme of, you know, retro, vintage, and I really like that. It feels very homey, and that I can appreciate. A little timer, which we will actually, I think this actually works, but we will test the gameplay. We don't get any new like furniture for the kitchen one, minus the fridge and then this like little caddy over here. Chopping boards, which probably aren't usable. Your sim isn't gonna like obviously cook on these. It would be interesting to see if maybe we just had these, because I do have the tablet on here as well. This is the cooking tablet, but if we just have this, if Sims will actually do the interaction of like chopping. Obviously this is the fridge, which is very much gonna play a pivotal role probably in my next Is This a Hint Towards the Next Packs, because there are definitely some interesting like magnets and drawings. Again, I kind of made it feel bounce back, you know, you never know, that Olivia had drawn these pictures and that's what they have up. And then you do have two plain swatches shopping bag. It's giving Trader Joe's. I say that as if I've ever owned a Trader Joe's bag in my life. Just a stack of bowls. These are really cute. Some little cereal bowls, so you can go for like the more healthy version, or you can obviously have the more like kid-like with Yamachan, the little maze on the back. This is a Void Critter one, and then you've also got like a llama one, which feels like Lucky Charms, and then the Freezer Bunny version of it. A lunchbox with some milk. This little baking tray, we do have this like tin. I'm using this as like a little tea and coffee station. You got this little brewing area, and then a jar of cookies. This is the caddy. I really like the colors that this comes in. This is a pretty cohesive kit when it comes to colors. There's a lot of pastel blues and then pinks and then yellows, and then everything else is pretty neutral. You've also got some like food storage containers. Looks like you are doomsday prepping. This is truly my girlfriend's dream. You got the food prep going on. Are they pickles? Delicious. A new knife block. This is also a separate item. This like cleaning supplies. You got like your, this is the sick bowl in it. Your defo. If Olivia gets sick, she's vomiting in that 100%. And then up on the shelves, I also have this little spice rack, which they said was like disheveled. That is one of the neatest spice racks I've actually ever seen in my life. What do you mean? And then we do in fact have some art. I love this coffee one. I can see myself using that an awful lot. You're kind of like peanut butter and jam. Your cereal posters, a little broccoli, wine, grilled cheese, and then a little cafe one. Super, super cute. I want the little coffee one and the cafetiere, like, actually in my own kitchen. Sims team, if you want to send it to anyone, you know where to send it if you're gonna make that a print. But that is everything that is included. Oop, no, it's not. We also have these, like, stick-on tiles, which I like the Love Struck version of this. This one I'm not feeling like quite as much. It's kind of difficult to make it, I guess, like look realistic. If you have businesses and hobbies, obviously we do now have family recipes. So this works like the cookbook. This works like the alarm clock. So you can actually set an alarm for this. So it's kind of like a timer, but it's more so just like setting an alarm. So say if you wanted your breakfast done by like 9 a.m., then we could set that, and then we can like toot along, do our own thing. Obviously the fridge is usable. Let's actually try and serve some eggs and toast. Let's see if she's actually going to chop on this chopping board. Oh, that doesn't call for any chopping, which is extremely unfortunate. Yeah, so the chopping board isn't usable. I really would have liked to see that. She's gone over to this bathroom counter instead. Our timer is going off. We can just wait for that to go away. Also on this, it doesn't just have to be family recipes. You can use this like an oven. Ooh, the cereal box is actually usable. You can use this to grab some cereal. So instead of finding cereal on the quick meals on the fridge, you can just use that, which is really fun. This also does work like a lunchbox. So even though it's open, you can put this in your inventory. You can place it in your world, and then you can grab a drink, and then you can also have a quick meal. Wow, this is way more usable than I thought it was going to be. You can open this up and actually have stuff like be in this bag. I'm assuming produce, but then you can also purchase groceries using it, and they appear in there like they do the fridge, and then you can use that and like put them over in the fridge. That's actually really cool. You can also grab a cookie from the cookie jar. So not gonna lie, this is a little fun kit. I quite enjoy like them adding these pieces on when they can. Like when it fits an item, I'm all for them overlapping like gameplay and throwing that in. I mean, realistically, it's a clutter kit. I'm not like the biggest fan of clutter kits. I feel like we have so much clutter nowadays that I'm just like, it's whatever. Like this is kind of unrealistic to be able to use it all because it kind of makes your kitchen unusable. But out of all of the clutter kits, I would say this was probably one of my favorites just because of the usability of it. And then I have created him a little garage. This does not come in the pack. I'm just going to throw that out there. It's not part of the kit. This is actually from City Living. So this is a little garage that I have built for Dennis Kim, and I'll go through the assets like one by one. So you have this like trolley with all like mechanical stuff on it, just like loads of boxes, oil, kitchen roll. Not gonna lie, is giving cars might be coming soon. We also have this staining on the floor, which can be like wood chip and shavings. Then it can also be like these oil stains and like dust stains. Loads of leftover wood. Definitely good if you are like a carpenter and you enjoy woodworking, which there is in fact a new woodworking bench. It comes in some obviously like sleek ones, and then it comes in the same 5 variations but with like loads of scuffing and like mug stains on it. Up here we do have some shelves with all your tools on it. Again, it comes with really polished stuff and then more like beat up stuff. That is definitely a running theme between all of these swatches. Also, all of this feels like a little DIY. Like this just looks like a shelving unit that he's made. You got some like WD-40 over here. These are 2 separate assets. So again, you have this kind of like metal industrial caddy, and then you have this like mini toolbox over here. So the woods work with each other, and then the metal stuff works with each other. They all flow quite nicely. Just a spare set of boxes. It's giving David's garage from Life is Strange. A fan, which is actually usable from what I remember. This is also usable as a little stool so your Sims can sit on this bucket. Kind of wish we had another bucket, like turn the other way. Boiler over here, it is fully operational. Again, I want to see if this is actually usable without for rent. This is kind of the like modular shelving. This is what like slots together. I will say this doesn't work as a counter, which is super unfortunate because you realistically can't place this on any of the objects that came with the kit, which is, in my opinion, a little bit of an oversight. I don't know why you can't like place it over here or like on here. That one's a little bit too tall, but I definitely don't know why you can't place it on here. I mean, it's probably to do with like the height and the animation. So I do just have some base game things out here for both the microwave and the coffee machine. This is also just like really usable for a lot of different things. This doesn't just have to be for like a workshop or a mechanic shop, especially in industrial builds. I do wish that we maybe had a few more swatches just to make it a little more usable. Maybe some like silver metal and like gold metal, just so it looked like maybe someone had judged it up a little bit. You've got these boxes. I love this swatch that looks like it has like old videos. We also have the fridge along with the oven. This is the fuse box. Again, interesting to see if that does actually work without for rent. A new sink, which is kind of just like this industrial sink. You have a few scuffed up ones and then some nice ones, which I am going to add just a little bit of rust. The cluttered tinkerer's table. I don't actually know if this works like as a table or like a desk. I'm not too sure if you can actually sit here. It doesn't look like you can. It doesn't look like you can sit at like particularly any of these objects. Would have honestly loved if this was an actual desk, but it kind of makes sense because it's very busy underneath, and I don't think your Sims legs would have been able to slot into there too easily. But I could see someone like hunched over here working away well into the night. And then also new lights, which are kind of just these like fluorescent tube lights. Wallpaper, which looks like an unfinished wall, which I really enjoy. It kind of looks like swatches. I don't know. I think this is fun for like home renovations and stuff. I think if you play maybe like Dream Home Decorator quite a bit, you enjoy telling like stories that are very realistic about your Sims like doing a fixer-upper and stuff. He doesn't actually have the handiness skill, but he can restore these. So we're gonna have him go and try restoring the oven. And that is actually starting to work on his handiness skill. Now, the reason I said this doesn't feel like a gameplay kit to me is because we can already fix ovens. We can already fix all of the objects that came with this. It is nice that we've kind of got this sort of element of restoring things, but I would have much preferred to have seen this, especially with the update that we got yesterday, is also able to restore like dumpster furniture that we got from Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle. I've always wanted to have reupholstered and fixed up, restorated furniture shops, and that's not what this is, and I would have just liked to see this. That's not to say in the future they maybe couldn't apply that, but I would definitely like to see it. It just doesn't really feel any different than fixing up an old oven, you know? Like, you could just, if this oven was broken, I could take it out of there, I could put it over here, I could have him work on it, and so it doesn't really feel that new. It doesn't feel like new gameplay, so therefore I'm not calling this a gameplay kit. I'm calling this like a mixture. It's kind of a hybrid. Ooh, ponder next project. I will have you do that. We can obviously craft sculptures. Again, I would have liked to see more furniture be able to be built on woodworking. I've always said it, but woodworking needs a major upgrade, and I would like to see it. This actually works. Ooh, and they've put some scraps in here. That's fun. I do like that they've added inventory slots where they are able to. These ones are also usable. The stackable storage tub. I'm assuming these are like stackable, so you could just have these like in the corner of the room. Yeah, they work like the books. Like, you could literally just stack them on top, on top. Also fun if you maybe want to like set up a little like storage unit for your Sims. I'm actually gonna have him stop doing that for right now, just because I want to see him pondering his next project. It's just an animation that plays. Oh, he's got a little idea. He's like, a tree house for Olivia. That is going to be my new one. Unfortunately, sir, you can't have to actually make that on the woodworking table. I would like to see what else he likes to think of when it comes to woodworking, because let me tell you now, you're not going to be able to do any of it. But I'm going to quickly have him restore these items just to kind of show you. I'm hoping that they are fully usable after you've restored them. There isn't a way to actually have these like fully restored. When you actually plop them down, it looks like it's going to be the new version. Like it has no scuffs on it, but then when you plop it down, it is actually the scuff version. So you do always have to repair these. I have turned testing cheats on and I'm shift clicking. There's also not a way to restore them like through cheats. So your sim physically does have to work on them. He's feeling focused from pondering his next object. Genius has struck and Dennis is ready to whittle wonders from wood. I'm assuming if she was too warm, this would actually help cool her down, and she was sat on that little bucket. Just imagine like Olivia sat here whilst her grandpa's working away on restoring these items. God, this takes a long while. God help us whenever we get fixer-upper cars. Don't get me wrong, I do like fixer-upper cars being like a good project. Like they do usually last a fair few days in the game, but this is taking ages, considering we probably started this like 10 hours ago maybe, and he's still working hard. It's like a standalone oven. There is like a lot of gap in between it, and then you can actually use this. You can just cook on it. I probably would give it a little clean maybe as well. Unfortunately, you can't use the design tool on this, so you actually just need to pick the color swatch that you want from the get-go. That also would have been really cool as well if you maybe could have like spray painted it and like changed the color on it as part of the restoration. Like you choose what swatch you want, but there's red, yellow, pink, purple, very nice little lavender. Shella will be happy. Really nice green for my fellow lesbians, kind of like a mint green cream. A really nice baby blue, very, very deep blue, all black, all white cream, and then also this like teal color, which is the default, and that goes for all of the appliances. I just love how this microwave looks. I love how 60s it is. I removed both for rent and businesses and hobbies, so this still works. Like you can still use it just to like direct your sim to cook. If you have cottage living, you can do canning. If you have get to work, you can bake. But you can't obviously do a family recipe because family recipes are only available for players who have businesses and hobbies. Just wanted to make sure that I wasn't overselling it for those of you who may not actually have that pack. And then when it comes to both of these are apparently working. They're fully operational. Not gonna lie, I don't really know what they do. I have never really noticed them in For Rent apart from like when people have an emergency that one of these goes out and I have to fix it. They can break, so I don't really know. If you know what these do, the fuse box and the boiler, let me know. I have to say, this is in my opinion, a pretty solid drop. I think, I don't even know what my favorite is. They're all very, very different from one another. I think probably the workshop one, just because that uses like and introduces a lot of stuff that we don't actually have in the game. And if my theory is correct that we're getting cars at some point in the near future, either this year or next year, that's obviously going to be like very usable to me. I also just quite enjoy giving like workshop spaces and like artsy spaces, and now also like woodworky spaces. I would have obviously much preferred this if they had let us also repurpose a lot of the stuff from Eco Lifestyle, and if they had given us an upgrade to woodworking yesterday in the base game update. This would have been like a 10 out of 10 for me. I would have been like, oh my god, go buy this kit, like stat. But that is not the case. It's fun if you want to like do up those certain objects, but there's only 4 of them, and realistically it's not that different than dragging out a broken item into a garage space, repairing it. If you wanted that realism, you could have done it the whole time. I like it for the decoration more than anything. I think it's like a space that we don't really have. Kitchen clutter, I said to my Twitch stream yesterday, I was like, chat, you're gonna be so proud of me if I get through the video without either stumbling over that name or throwing in a cheeky C next Tuesday, because that is so hard to say, that kit name. And it was almost there. Like the little like bits of gameplay, even though it's nothing game changing, I do always enjoy it when they put their whole Ussy into a kit and they're like, we already have this, so why not make use of that feature? I feel like all packs just need more of that anyway. So I do like it. It's just, obviously it's a clutter kit at the end of the day. If you already feel like you have enough kitchen clutter, it's absolutely not going to be the pack for you. And also, whoever said that we needed more digital stuff in The Sims 4? If anything, they need to draw back the times. We need to get retro, and we need like pencils and pad that our kids can draw on. I mean, we have those drawings on the fridge, and yet they can't draw on paper. The tablet makes sense, but I kind of wish they had done like a tiny living situation. I kind of wish that they had rolled Lindsay, which is a base game thing anyway, also into like a new asset, so it worked more like a Google Home, so that you could like ask it questions about like recipes, or you could like speak to it and it could be a speaker whilst you're also cooking. That personally would have taken that kit up a level for me. Right now it just feels like a bunch of clutter. Makes the kitchen just flow a little bit better, in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, the Creator Sim kit, I can probably live without it. I really could. I'm not a huge fan of the like career outfits anyway. I never put those kind of outfits really on my Sims for them to live in. I probably would have bought it, let's be real, for the glasses, but I kind of wish that they were dangling a little bit more. I would love it if they kept playing around with like the height of trousers and how they fit Sims. That is something that I keep wanting to see for masculine Creator Sim, and I can't believe it took an Elders inspired kit for us to get there, but we got there. But thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, if I may have missed anything and you want to let me know, just leave it down in the comments. I appreciate you all so much, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.